Good morning, good morning. Today is Captain Archer Day. So we have an hour before shutdown, but I wanted to at least get on because I've been getting on this same time. I'm going to try to come up with a pretty good schedule so I can be on regularly. I was playing this morning some STOs with Alt Lexington. Really good group of guys. It was a lot of fun. So let's jump in and see if we can knock out our dailies before the hour is up and get our endeavor to 351. So I don't remember exactly what my endeavors are for the day, but win gold, press platinum, 3,000, and ground missions. All right. So let's take Venger and hop into a little classier ship, something a little smaller. Right now I'm in the Juggernaut, which is one of my better DPS ships. My favorite ship is the ship from Picard, the lot. Just because it has the consoles and it has the ability to have on a science tune, you can pop it and you can have the photonic swarm plus photonic fleet, so it feels like you literally have a fleet kicking butt and taking names. So as you see, I have a ton of ships. So I'm gonna come down. I'll drop into the pilot destroyer. This is the ship that was on Picard in the Mars attacks. I always thought it was pretty cool. And of course I put my usual Baul Vanity Shield, and for the exhaust effect I have the super cooled combat engines. I just like the way that looks. So where are we gonna go to do our gold press? I usually try to stay away from Deep Space Nine, just because it's a little crowded in there. Okay. So in progress missions. Jump down to skirmish. Skirmish is close enough to get to the Jozana station. One of the things that they added that they initially didn't have was the ability to transwarp straight to a mission. So that made traveling through space a lot faster. So what I usually do is I try to have a mission kind of near where I need to get to, like this, so that I can just pop in and just go where I need to go. Works out pretty well. Let's see how much funds I have. Okay, I have enough money to gamble away. Open some of these boxes to clear up a little inventory space. And those are rewards from running a little earlier. Gotta love that intro. And then my ship, the way the light hits it with the bow shield, the Star Trek emblem, it just looks fantastic. And then with the Breen engine, I get that cool exhaust effect. Gotta love it. So let's get in here, get my dailies done. So usually when I come in here and do the gold press latinum, and remember, friends, gamble with responsibility. So don't come in here and gamble all your money away for gold press latinum.
Can't you see I'm busy losing all my...
All right, so we're gonna play some Dabo. So what I usually try to do is bet 10,000. Lucky 13. Am I gonna make it? No, I didn't make it. That's okay. It'll come back up in a few seconds. Again, when you come here, you get that cool club effect. So I usually do lucky 13, and I try to scroll down and get around 24. Kind of keep the red dots equal distant, because to be honest, I really don't know how to play Dabo. So hopefully we'll win this 3,000 and be good to go. Bam. Got my 3,000 and I hit my endeavor for the day. So let's see. Perks. Shield harness. Health regeneration. Maximum shields. I think I'll go with maximum shields just so that you know, on those ground missions when you're playing and you get hit, you can actually survive it and duck and cover, kind of get out of the way. Regeneration is good, but the only problem with that is if you can regenerate a lot and you can't take burst damage, it kind of negates the whole fact of having good regeneration. So I feel that you want to kind of max out, not max out, but get your shield stats, your health stats, those kind of stats higher, just because I feel like it serves you better in the long run. Because you can always, like I said, duck and dodge and get out of the way, run if you need to prevent the damage. But if you can't take the damage, you know, you die. So that's a lesson I learned playing WoW. In WoW at times, you have to be able to take that damage and survive the hit or the mess up. All right, so we got Disruptor Ground and Phaser Ground. So for Disruptor, we're gonna go with the Bolian Heavy Assault Cannon. That does a lot of damage, and the only problem you really run into is there's a time between when you're shooting and when your weapon reloads, so you can't really get all the power that you need out of it. All right, and for the phaser, we'll just go with our sniper rifle. All right, and for our mission, same old, good old faithful cold call. I find this is the easiest way to knock out the ground damage missions. And my favorite ones are actually the ones where you have to do damage, because it gives you the ability to, you know, ground damage, because it gives you the ability to do multiples if you have multiples like I do now. sorry about that. Okay, so let's go in. When I first started playing, one of the things that I found about weapons was there's so many different variations and there's so many different weapon styles. It really gives you the ability to play in multiple ways. I remember when I first started playing, I thought engineers were the way to go. Excuse me. So I would get a whole bunch of engineers on my away team and drop the phaser turrets. So I basically have, excuse me, I basically have 4 engineers with 4 phaser turrets dropping. So you're basically doubling your away team and doubling the damage you do. So let me pop my Mako gear on. And we'll do Archer Day after we knock out these dailies. Because, you know, you spend a little time doing these dailies and it adds up over time. My Endeavor is 351 now. And it makes a huge difference, you know, when you're playing and those extra little boosts and everything. All right. So because we have to get a lot of damage and our weapon is slow, I'm gonna, excuse me, send my away team over there just so I can make sure that I'm getting all the bad guys to myself. All right, and here we go. And you see the weapon is pretty slow. Oh, it got me. All right, there we go. And then you see these target pets coming up after me. Those are, I try to equip all my away team with, whoops, I'm frozen. Try to equip all my away team with those kind of combat pets just so, you know, overwhelm numbers and everything. Because I feel like in a lot of games like Star Trek and World of Warcraft and you know, you name it, whenever you have characters that have the ability to have more pets, so to speak, they really give you an element of damage that you can't get. And it's not really cheating, but if you maximize it, you know, from my experience, any kind of character in a game that has any kind of ability to pop a pet or you know, have another element of damage come out, it's always pretty good. So we have a little bit more for disruptor damage. So we're gonna go over here to the corner. Just because there are less people over here than the people in the quad that I call. So those folks in the quad on the top left, I'm gonna save those for my phaser damage. And we're gonna come all the way around and get this last group at the top. And here they go. So I'm gonna knock these out. that gave me my quota. So I'm going to switch to my phaser weapon. Crouch just to get a little more damage when you crouch. Knock those guys out. Oh, holographic combat drones. Bridge officers coming through for me. So I'm going to switch my weapon just for more fun, just because I don't have that much more damage to do. Switch to the Section 31 phaser pistol. I really like this weapon only because when Section 31 was introduced, I believe it was introduced in Deep Space Nine, but in Voyager, you really got to see Section 31 in action, you know, with the new ships and everything going on. So I'm going to use this. I actually missed out on the Section 31 rifle, so I'm trying to keep an eye out for that when that comes out so I can get it. Get up off me, bro. Alright, there we go. So I've knocked out all of my endeavors for the day. Got some goodies. Got some boxes too. So I'm going to change back into my classic outfit. This is a uniform that I made when I first started playing the game in 2010. I excuse me, got the lifetime badge, the belt, and when I was looking for a jacket, there were a ton of different variations. So I went with this only because I felt like the little armband, kind of reminiscent of the military, how you get the tassels that go over your shoulder. So, you know, red for tactical, blue for science, gold for engineer, and the white on the top represents, he's an admiral. So that worked out to be a pretty nice uniform. So let me beam up to my ship, get out of here. And you see how small the phaser was in his hand? Yeah, pretty cool. But I don't really have a favorite weapon. I guess I did when I first started. I'll show it to you real quick. This overpowered plasma sniper rifle. I thought this was the greatest thing since sliced cheese when I when I first got it, because, you know, new to the game, leveling. It was a mission reward, and it has the overcharged sniper shot, so it typically did a ton more damage than a standard weapon. But if you notice, it says extreme damage variance. That's the kicker. Sometimes you can get damage to kill a captain in one shot, and sometimes you're just out of luck and you get pew pew damage. So usually whenever I have to switch up stuff, I jump into my shuttle just to get the bank access, which is pretty convenient regardless of where you are, you know, in the universe and everything. So, like I was saying yesterday, I have my main character, Venger, and I have a bunch of alts, you know, each character from the series. And one of the things that I do is I'll kind of share the wealth. So in here, I have all of the higher level bridge officer abilities. So while I'm going through, when I'm maxing out a ship, I can just kind of take the abilities from here and kind of not be wimping out on abilities. I also have a ton of these research tabs, and of course I have a whole bunch of ships that I really don't have a captain that I want to put these on, so I'm kind of just saving them for later. But I'll explain all the research stuff later. probably in another stream, just to show you how I go about doing fleet building, because I actually have a system and one person can build and level a fleet pretty effectively. So I'm going to jump off and we're going to get started with Archer Day. We have 39 minutes to enjoy Captain Archer and talk about Archer until the power down. Yesterday we did Captain Picard Day, so I figured do Captain Archer and talk a little about Enterprise and that series and how I enjoyed it. All right, here we go. Captain Archer. So this is the way I have my alt set up. Each alt kind of has a different role whenever I play games. So Archer is kind of my go-to builder. He kind of has all my goodies. He's the main one I go to sell stuff. As you can see, I keep all of his extra stuff in the bank. Anything from the bridge officer training manuals, kit modules, and cross-faction universal consoles. Keep all that good stuff in here. So I also keep all of my keys on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 738 keys. And I have over 1,000 boxes. I kind of just keep them around, you know, just in case there's something that comes out. I have one special request choice tier 6 promotional choice pack. I save that in case a new pack comes out. I'll open that, get the ship, and then when it comes around to try to get another pack, I'll try to get another pack, but I always try to have, you know, at least one pack able to be opened. And I have 2 Infinity Prize Pack tier ship boxes, again, just in case a ship comes out that I want to get. So, let's see. I have some goodies that sold. Yes, I do. I sold an integrity-linked phaser dual cannon and 2 integrity-linked dual cannons. All right, made a little bit of money. So I used to be a billionaire. I think I've amassed well over 50 billion, but to start off, I hit 14, sorry. And it was from the reusable shield batteries that were on a mission. And I don't think people realized where those shield batteries came from. So I just grabbed a whole bunch and I was like, well, you can sell these. I'll sell them on the market. And basically all you had to do was go into the mission, take the battery off of the shuttle for the mission, jump out, start the mission over, and just do that over and over and over and over. And I made ungodly riches doing that. So let's open up these boxes. All right. And I keep the marked packages. I have on another one of my alts where I keep all of these packages. And actually, we have time. I'll jump on, excuse me, my alts real quick just to show some of what I do with these extra goodies that I have. That'll also help me clean up my inventory as well. So it's only 3, so it'll only be a couple of minutes, and then we'll jump back into Archer Day. But speaking of Archer, Enterprise was one of my favorite series at the time. I know critically it didn't do so well, and they wanted a different tempo and a different feel. But I love Scott Bakula from the Quantum Leap days. I love that series, and when he became the captain, I was like, well, I'll watch this. This will be great. So this is my stash of marked packages. I have a few of the 300. I have a few of the 100 and the 50s. So what I do is I keep these just in case I ever need to pop any of the new stuff or get any of that stuff. Just makes it a lot simpler. So on this tune, I have my own fleet for this guy. He basically just holds stuff for me. It's Adnashok from Babylon 5. Some of you may remember that. But I keep all of my research assignments and everything in here. And I keep my manuals, science, all the good stuff. And I also store my lockboxes here. So when I finish, leveling, I'll take all of these training manuals and put back in this fleet. And what I try to do is keep all of the characters together when I'm switching and everything, just so they don't get lost in the shuffle. Because as you see, I have plenty. I don't even know what the count is. Another stream, I'll explain my numbering system. These are KDF tunes that I use to help build a fleet. And these are the Fed ones I use to help build my current Fed fleet. And they have a lot of resources, so I'm not going to dump them just in case they come out with a new element for the Starbase system or anything like that. And I also have 7 character slots on top of everything I have here. So also notice the character name Valen from Babylon 5. So let's jump down here to the next one. Olkash. Tactical. He, in Babylon 5, we didn't know if he was a good guy or a bad guy. But pick the name. I actually have 3 fleets for these 3 tunes that I use to just hold stuff. And this is on the KDF side. So I use him to keep all of my account weapons, and these are weapons that I have that are not account bound, that I'm just keeping around maybe to sell or use on another tune. And for the fleet on this guy, I basically use him to keep all of my hardware goodies, DOFs, and bridge officers. And there's a 30-minute bell. We'll keep streaming until break, just so we can have a little fun until break, talk a little bit. Hey, good morning, Highway. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate you stopping by. So right now I'm just going through dumping some of the stuff that's in my account bank into my alts and explain my alts where I have my fleets and explaining how I use my storage. And this is my last guy, Vosh. And you see they're all piloting not expired ships, but ships that I guess the community didn't really want to keep around. They're pretty good ships, but they have more tactical weapon slots and everything in the rear, so it kind of made PvP and things like that a little different. The Vorgon. So this guy keeps all of my food and also more weapons. As you can see, I've opened a lot of boxes and have a lot of Baul weapons. At one point, I tried to keep each weapon type on each character, but it turned out to be more trouble than it was worth. So I kind of gave up on that element of the game. So all right, let's jump back into Archer. Sorry. All right. So when Enterprise came out, at first the concept of a new Enterprise show, I was like, oh man, I wonder how it's going to turn out. And of course, I told you Scott Bakula was one of my favorite characters from Quantum Leap, actors from Quantum Leap. And the first episode, it was a little slow. I'll give you that. With the setup of a Klingon coming to Earth. And one of the things that I always kind of cringe at whenever they do series in a genre that branch off into a sort of series before the lore that we know was built. It's always kind of like, are they going to mess this up? Are they going to have some sort of, crazy thing? And you can look at Star Wars and what happened in Star Wars. It was kind of the same thing where the new Star Wars series after the first three, where it was Star Wars 1, and they had ships that were much more advanced and sleek than the ships that we saw in the original Star Wars Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. So that was one of my concerns, but I think they did a very good job. You can see the outfits that they wore, kind of jumpsuits, kind of like the Air Force pilots wear now, which I thought was very clever to kind of take that and incorporate that and make that a real thing. And as far as the weapons that I use on Archer, I went with the 22nd century phaser pistol and pulse rifle. Just kind of give it that older feel. And here we go, a dance party. So let me pop my reputation or flourish just to add to the party fun. I like doing that, before you have enough people in here, you can have people pop all theirs, and next thing you know, the entire room is filled. There we go. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, okay, let me get out of here and come over here, talk a little Archer, and check out his ship. So like I was saying about the Enterprise series, the fun part of it was T'Pol having a Vulcan. We saw in one of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek First Contact, where the first warp ship with Zephyr Cochrane was launched. The Vulcans saw it and came to Earth, and that kind of started the whole Star Trek lore and everything. And one of the interesting things was that the Vulcans were like, here, don't go out into space. We'll give you a book so you can read it. No. Don't go out and check that, star cluster. We'll give you the map so you can see it. So they held the warp program back, and Archer fighting to get in and everything. It was just a fascinating start, and it kind of tempers your current view of Vulcans and the logic they use, which their logic is I don't want to say flawed, but there are holes in the whole emotionless thing. But this is the legendary temporal operative escort. And as you can see, you cannot use as a ship's name Enterprise. So I just changed it to Enterprise just for the fun of the feel. It is a fantastic ship. I love the way it looks. It kind of This is like the first real, I don't want to say escort, because we did get an escort in Deep Space Nine, but the Deep Space Nine was more about the space station and not the ship. So the Defiant, was used on missions, and it didn't really go far as being able to do long storylines and everything, with it. But for Enterprise, when they did the Xindi, that was fantastic storyline. Having to go out and find these people that attacked Earth. It was just a fantastic storyline, and in my opinion, it launched the show Enterprise into a new stratosphere as far as the storytelling. So as you can see, I loaded out with cannons, tried to get as much critical damage as I could, and of course dark matter. I pretty much used the same types of deflectors, impulse, warp drive, and shields. The experimental weapon, I really like this one for the kinetic damage. And of course, same old, because this is an engineer, I kind of had to try to get as much critical hit and critical damage and accuracy as I could. And of course, my weapons consoles. For my traits, I pretty much used the same trait system, emergency weapon cycles, so that when I go in to do that first salvo, the energy drain from the cannons isn't as bad. And then preferential targeting. After using beam, fire at will, or cannons, you get 100 plus damage to beam overload and cannon rapid fire. And then critical systems gives you more critical chance and critical hit when using emergency powered bridge officer. So you kind of go in to get that first salvo off, and you can really do some damage. Supercharged weapons. Firing a torpedo. Oh. Twiggies, thank you for following. I really appreciate the follow-up. Welcome to the fleet. I hope you enjoy. Stay around. We're pretty relaxed. Right now we're talking about Archer Day, and going over the character I have. Just to give you some background, what I did was I used to have a ton of characters. I had over 32, and they switched the characters and made them more in-depth and detailed, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So I figured, well, hey, I'll make one character from each series, excuse me, one captain from each series, and this is Archer. So yesterday we did Picard Day, today we're doing Archer. So I'm just going over some of the abilities and things that I have. Make it so, I know a lot of people might not like this or might not use it, but since I'm on an engineer and the ability to keep the ship going when you get hit in these elite and advanced runs, it gives you that extra damage and that extra healing. Oh, Lexington, thanks for the raid, man. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed running with you guys today. We're just talking about Archer, and I was going over my starship traits and talking about the show Enterprise and how much I enjoyed it and different aspects of it. I was showing off the outfit, which I loved. I was talking about how the outfits from Enterprise kind of matched the Air Force and how it's more of a jumpsuit instead of, the Next Generation or Captain Kirk's uniforms. So it kind of gives you a better feel for the, what we know as Star Trek generation. Oh, another follow. Let's see. That's Bent Cranium. Thank you for following. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the fleet. We're just going over Archer Day, talking about Archer, Captain Archer, character that I have. one of the things that I did that I really enjoyed was creating the bridge officers. And in Enterprise, when they had the Mako join. So of course I went back and watched the episodes. Oh, that's from the Speed Racer franchise. I forgot that. My brother and I used to watch that when we were younger. I won't get into my age. As you can see, I have a little gray. I'll just let you believe that's premature graying. But I created all the Mako characters. I went back and watched the episodes just so I could get a grasp, of who they are. And I had to pick 4. So Corporal Chang, Corporal Cole, Corporal Romero, and then Major Hayes. I know Major Hayes died, but I really enjoyed those characters and what they brought to the series at that time. So I used them as my ground crew. It's tactical. And of course, I gave each one a different specialization. The specialization for this guy got messed up a little bit, so let me fix that. I usually just give them whatever their specialization abilities are, battle strategies, and ambush. I also have all of the characters: Travis Mayweather, Michael Rostov. He was probably only on a handful of episodes, but I watched the entire series again. I probably watched all of the Star Trek series at least 3 or 4 times each. Phlox, I kind of didn't do him justice, but I tried to get him as close as possible to the original. And of course, Malcolm Reed, Daniels, I created him when they came out with the Time Traveler jumpsuit. I was like, I have to put this guy in there. No, I wasn't in the series. I wish I was, though. The other thing I did to maximize my damage output was I roll with the 3 Jim Hadar bridge officers because you get the 7.5 damage, 1% crit chance, 2.5 crit severity times 3. And then I go with the Romulan operatives. You get the crit chance, crit severity, and power recharge speed for cloaking. Even though we don't cloak, it adds up to be a lot. So all of my tunes, crit chance is hovering between 40 to 50 depending. My science is a lot different. We'll go over science on Janeway Day. I don't have the best science build, but I do pretty well, especially AoE with science. So let's see, one more, Hoshi. 15 minutes left. I created Hoshi. I know this looks absolutely nothing like the real Hoshi. I have to brush up on my skills as far as creating the bridge officers. But, I created all these guys for the feel and the fun of Star Trek. DPS leaderboard runs. I actually don't know very much about the DPS leaderboards. Today was actually my first experience knowing what kind of DPS I do. I think I did okay. I was a little under 100K. It was like 99K. I assume that's good, but during the shutdown, I'm going to look into it. Yeah, the fine tuning. That's the thing. I really try to fine tune my main character, and whatever I do on my main character, I'll kind of trickle that down to my alts. They do pretty well. So okay. So we got Archer in here. Let's try to do. We have 14 minutes. Let's try to do. We'll do wanted. Make sure the difficulty is on advanced. Yeah, I'm going to get that combat meter. I used one in WoW, and back in the day when my server was populated on WoW, I was actually the highest rated hunter on our server. That's not saying much because we weren't on one of those hugely populated servers, but I could hold my own, in the raids and everything, and didn't really die that much as far as getting killed off and not being able to take those bursts from the bad guys. Oh, thank you. I actually have crews for each captain in each series, so I've created them all, and it's years of work in the making. So hopefully on another stream I'll get that and show you guys, and we can talk about that and laugh at some of the weirdness of the things that I put in there. So one of the things I do when I get into Wanted or I'm doing any kind of content, I'll try to grab my goodies just so that everything doesn't get out of hand later on. When I'm actually playing the game. Oh, Rock Hardwick, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. I probably should be paying attention to what I'm doing. But so how I have my ship set up, the reason why all of my HUD elements are a little above the bottom is because when I first started playing, I had a problem finding where I am and everything. And my brother said, "Well, why don't you just turn your camera on chase mode?" Because I had a problem trying to find the enemy, move my camera and everything. So it kind of frees up my hands and my eyes and everything. And I kind of have a system for how I set up my ships. So on the first row where I use my numbers, I have all of my damage abilities. So I can pop them, kind of in order while I'm moving with one hand. And then on the second row, I have all of my healing and survivability things, powers and abilities and everything. And on the top row, on the back side, I have all of my movement abilities. So what I do is for Alt 9 and Alt 8, if I'm ever in a situation where I'm getting hammered, I gotta get out, I have to escape, PvP, get away from an enemy, I just Alt 9 and Alt 8, and it'll get me out quickly. So here I'll demonstrate real quick while we're in here. So if I'm moving and I'm getting hammered, I'll just hit Alt 8, Alt 9, and then Alt 8, and next thing you know, I've covered a lot of ground while I'm in combat. Another cool thing that I love about the engineer is miraculous repairs. So even though I'm in an escort on an engineer, while I'm doing pretty good damage, and let's look at my stats real quick while we have a few more minutes. I'm hovering, my critical chance is at 50.3, severity 291.4 and my accuracy is at 57. One thing that I noticed with accuracy, looking it up, I'm a nerd. Your accuracy in the defense of the ship you're attacking makes a big difference in you actually hitting or missing. And that, because I'm in an escort, I want all of my volley, my first, punch to hit. So that's kind of where I'm at with my abilities and everything on an engineer. But the beauty of Captain Archer being an engineer is that when I get hit and hammered, I can repair quickly. And the other part, the EPS power transfer, I'll pop that, and then I'll pop my red matter so that I can get my stats high. So I'm at 150. Is my damage right? I don't think that's calculating right. Yeah, that's not calculating right. It should be much higher than that. But that's okay. They're probably going to fix it during the power shutdown. So let's get out of here. We have a couple minutes left before the power down. I appreciate you all for coming and hanging around. I love Star Trek, man. My wife thinks I'm a geek because I was trying to convince her into letting me purchase a Star Trek uniform so that when I stream, I can have my, get the whole feel, have the. I'm already in the ship. I need the uniform, get my captain's ranks and everything. So let me go over some of the ships while we have a few minutes. Like I said in my last stream, what I like to do is for each of these characters that I base off of the series, I try to get the ships that match. I don't know if some of you remember the support shuttlecraft, the Talakir. And the other thing I do is when I name my ships, because I have so many, I have, I think, 193 ships without not counting duplicates. So that's 193 ships over 18 characters. Type shuttle, 7 shuttle. Also, each of the tunes, I get the captain's yacht. I used to keep gear on them, but now I keep all of my gear in the bank just to have room. I'm thinking about getting I was actually going to purchase the Picard one from the TV series, that version, but they didn't have any in my size. They just had a medium, so couldn't get a medium. So I'm checking Amazon and checking, online to see when they get them in stock. I think, when I said I was going to get one, everyone else ran out to get them, so didn't leave me any. So let's jump into. I got the Vulcan ships only because T'Pol, Vulcan ship. I kind of put those two together. So if a Vulcan ship comes out, I'll probably put it on Archer just to keep that theme going. But the Vulcan scout ship, one of the fun things that I do with the science build, is that I have four science tunes and one engineer. And the engineer is so that I get the benefit of one of the traits. Let's see, which one is it? I think it's this one. On one of these traits, you get a bonus for using emergency power to engineering. So I thought it was cool to put all these science powers together. It would probably work better on a science character, but engineer science, it's not that far off. I also have the Cheval Temporal Science Spearhead, the Dakir Science Vessel. I just love the way this looks. Even though it's a tier 5 ship, it's a fantastic ship. I also have the USS Defiant from the Mirror Universe episode where Archer was a captain looking for this ship, and it was from an alternate universe. So I put that in there. I also have the Tuffy class, the USS Horizon. I've been playing Star Trek since December of 2010. Kind of jumped on, and I just love it. I actually started playing this and World of Warcraft at the same time. My wife would like it if I didn't play anything at all, but I just love Star Trek, man, and just love it. So let me run through a couple more of these ships, and I'll just keep talking to you guys until they turn the lights off. So I got the Suliban Silic Flight Deck Assault Carrier just because Silic was in Enterprise, and keeping my stable of ships together on the characters, it kind of makes it easier to know where each ship is and everything like that. Yeah, I bought my lifetime subscription back then too, and it actually turned out to be well worthwhile, 12 years later. I have the Suliban Cell Ship. I really don't use these very much, but it's cool to just have around. And if you're ever in a ship and you need to get to a bank, or you're out in the middle of nowhere and you don't want to leave, you can switch ships. Of course, the Kobayashi Maru, I use that also. And then, of course, the Beauty, the Enterprise. Oh, one thing that I also do while we have a couple minutes, I have a ton of ships from the STO and all over the place. So I like to get the starship traits for each of my alts. So I'll take a starship trait that Tacos 42 Night. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the fleet. We're just having some fun with Archer Day, talking about Archer and talking about our love for Star Trek. So what I do is I'll say, okay, I have all these ships, all this time. What am I gonna do? So I'll just pop a ship on, I'll level it, and then just drop it. So we have about a minute left, so I'll come in here. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of available ships. Tier 6. Just scrolling through the list. So that's pretty much it. So I'd say I probably have about 30-40% of the ships available to level. Looks like we're gonna hit our time. Thank you all for coming out. I'm trying to stream faithfully around the same time. This is my third day streaming, and I appreciate you all. I'm gonna get a regular schedule. I'm gonna Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, another follower, MK9 Hawk. Thank you for following. I really appreciate it. Oh, thanks, Highway. Well, we're Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Again, this is my third day streaming. I'm gonna try to stream every day for at least an hour or two, just to get the feel. Get the cobwebs out and try to get a well-oiled machine. I'm streaming for fun. It would be nice to become a bigger streamer and expose Star Trek and talk to folks and meet people from around the world. Alt Lexington is from the UK. I've never spoken to someone about Star Trek, or much less someone in the UK that far away. So I like that Twitch gives us the ability to come together and talk about our love for Star Trek. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream and try to get back on them later. I'll try to be on all week around the same time. Try to figure out a good schedule so that I can be here regularly and, you know, give you guys an opportunity to drop by, say hi, talk about Star Trek. Oh, really? I didn't realize that. I assumed that Star Trek was just a United States thing, and it was kind of sprinkled out, you know, everywhere. Thanks, I appreciate it, man. Alt Lexington, I will see you tomorrow. I don't even know the time difference. I assume it may be 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon there. So, all right, guys. And I will end my stream with my usual, once I get the hang of the camera and where it is, live long and prosper.